Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it.
Shout out bros, keep my eyes in the sky, cause that's where I'm moving. Say they wanna read my mind.
Okay, time out. Right before we get into the video, I gotta leave a real quick message, and in that message is a reminder about this beautiful piece of clothing on my body. So these hoodies will only be available until the end of the month, which is very soon. So if you plan on scooping one up, first off, before that, I just want to say thank you for real to everyone. And before you purchase one, make sure you use this promo code here, go crazy 99 for free shipping. Again, I appreciate you a ton for planning to get one, getting, or even being here right now. Okay, now let's get into the reason why you clicked this video.
Demanding a trade.
If the Lakers made a trade for Anthony Davis.
You are demanding a trade to the Lakers right here.
As time has gone on throughout this season, we have began to approach the midpoint of the year. This is when things get intense. Rumors, trade rumors fly everywhere. In this moment right now, and for the next month or two, you'll be seeing all kinds of wild trade rumors involving the most random star players. Now, alright, look, a lot of the time, most of the trade ideas and rumors that we tend to see have an extremely low chance of happening, and are pretty unrealistic. As y'all know, I am probably as real as it gets. I'm transparent as hell, and that's what I pride myself on. So I can't lie, I've fallen victim to this trend or whatever. And to me at least, that's a pretty bad look, and I gotta make things right. And give you guys some real deal situations and possibilities. Not just something that would seem nice and cool in my head. So anyways, let's keep it real and try to form some deals, and in the comments y'all gotta let me know how y'all feel. Ooh, no lie, I low-key should say screw this YouTube stuff and just go ahead and start my rap career, huh? Would y'all support me still? I feel like I'd be cold on the mic. Anyways, so let's get into the topic. I'm getting off topic. The Utah Jazz have been by far one of the most disappointing teams in the NBA. They haven't been playing up to expectations or even near it, and they've regressed their play. Why? Why is that? Why are they out of the playoff race? Why does Donovan Mitchell look so suspect out there on the court? Sophomore slump? Probably. There is a lot wrong with this team right now, and changes need to be made, or else that entire team will be kicking it at home once the regular season is over, and they'll be watching all the other 8 teams in the West compete and fight for their playoff lives until they all get smacked by the Warriors in the end. But luckily for Utah, they're one of the few teams in the league who have flexibility and the ability to move certain contracts and players on their roster. As we look at this Utah team, they've always been lacking 2 things in particular, and these last few years, last year actually, and the year before last year to be specific, they were able to get away with these 2 things because they were a stellar defensive team. But this year, that ain't the case though. They've been oddly off, and since their offense hasn't been nothing special, their record right now has been brutalized. Utah needs change to happen. Adjustments need to be made, and one of the first things that they could do is scope out the trade block for another offensive piece. Kyle Korver is good, but he's not good enough to turn around their season. I believe that they could, should, and most likely would go after Jabari Parker. Let me explain why this move makes sense. Over the past few years, the league has gotten smaller and smaller, and this year a lot of teams around the league shrunk their starting 5s in order to transform their offense. Now the Utah Jazz have tried to do that themselves with Jay Crowder at the 4. Sometimes they put that man in the starting lineup in place of Derek Favors, but that ain't gonna do it. That is not enough to cut it because that's Jay Crowder, and Jay Crowder kinda sucks. So sometimes they revert back to Derek Favors and place him in the starting lineup. And for some of you who don't know, Derek Favors is a power forward who should not be playing power forward in the NBA anymore, but he is for the Utah Jazz. He and Rudy on the court at the same time makes things so much tougher for Donovan and the rest of the team. They're already put at a disadvantage for how limited their offense can be, and starting Derek Favors next to Rudy Gobert is doing nothing to help the situation. It's making it even worse actually. So the Utah Jazz could actually look to trade for Jabari Parker. The same Jabari Parker who is currently going out sad with the Chicago Bulls. This move right here is a low risk, high reward type of move for both sides. For the Bulls, they get a great defensive big in Derek Favors, and that's something that they could really use right now since they're known to be such a horrible defensive team. Now, shifting point of views, Jabari Parker has a $20 million price tag attached to his name this year. Not gonna lie, at first glance, that looks absolutely disgusting, but thankfully there's a team option on his contract, meaning that if the Jazz don't like the results that they get from Jabari Parker, that they could decline his team option next year and make him a free agent and clear his name off of the books. At this point for the Utah Jazz, they might as well try out this experiment, and in reality you could honestly view this as a win-win situation for the Jazz regardless of what happens with Jabari. If he does well with the team and can be the definitive second option for Donovan Mitchell and rejuvenate this team, then it's a major W for Utah. But if he doesn't though, and the situation turns out to be kinda crappy, guess what? They can get cap relief by declining his team option this year, and by doing that they could free up some more money to sign an even better player this offseason. Win-win situation in my eyes, and I honestly do not understand why the Utah Jazz have not pulled the trigger yet. This is the first realistic trade that I feel like could happen at any moment. Now let's move on to the next. Philadelphia 76ers. Now, not only do I not have a single clue what the hell they want to do with Markelle Fultz, I'm pretty sure they don't know what they want to do either yet. Ever since this man entered the NBA and ever since he jacked up or whatever happened to his shoulder, he's always been a jump shot away from becoming one of the most promising guards in the league. And that's what the Sixers need to complete this process. The thing about that though is that I don't know if they want to give up on him just yet because it seems kinda too soon. He was just drafted last year. If the Sixers do decide to trade him, I could see that happening during the summer. Right now though, no, that is deceased. But if that does end up happening and they make up their mind before the trade deadline, then I guess one player that they could have their eyes open for is Terrence Ross. But here's the problem. It might not be too easy getting Terrence Ross because the other teams want that man too, including the Lakers. T. Ross has been having the best season of his shaky career and has been getting up 14 points per game off of the bench while being efficient and consistent, and that's something that's pretty weird to see from him. So T. Ross could and most likely will be traded to contenders such as the Lakers, the Philadelphia 76ers, and maybe even the Rockets. He's a terrific shooter and scorer whose contract expires this season, so he's an extremely enticing player on an extremely enticing contract. So if the Sixers want him right there, Markelle Fultz has to say goodbye, and in exchange for Fultz they probably have to give up a second or 2 second rounders along with Terrence Ross, of course. I feel like that's a move that the Sixers would actually consider if they make up their minds about Fultz and say that they're done with him. If not, cool, because Magic Johnson is for sure gonna be hitting their line about Terrence Ross. I'm pretty sure they'd offer up KCP for show and maybe, just maybe, a second rounder. If the Lakers can get this move done, does that give them a much better shot at making a deep playoff run? Terrence Ross has formed himself into a deadly shooter, and that's exactly what the Lakers need this year. So since we have been talking about LA, let's stay in this zone for a second and talk about Anthony Davis, I guess. Do I think Anthony Davis will be traded? Yes, most definitely he will be traded. I've been saying this for a while now on this channel. Do I think that it'll happen this season though? No. Hell no, because there's still some experimenting to do with the young guys in LA, and I don't think Magic Johnson would mess with any of them unless Anthony Davis requested a trade. If that happened right there, then this would be a completely different story, but it hasn't, and I highly doubt that AD would do something like that this year. Back to what I was saying, all this AD to LA talk has been at an all-time high. The media has been going crazy, and they've been really forcing this storyline down the throats to you and me, and they keep on pushing the narrative that LA is gonna make a move for him now, which is false. They're doing him, all those dudes, they're doing it for the bag right now, to be real. All this AD to LA talk gets everyone jumping. They get them off of their seats because they be hype about this stuff. But in this video, I'm not gonna do that. I've spoke about AD to LA in several other videos in the past before. So as of now, in the making of this video, this trade right here, AD to LA, whatever, it's unrealistic. For now, okay? For now, don't get it twisted, it's realistic, but as for now, it's unrealistic. On to more realistic situations though. The Detroit Pistons have been pretty good this year. Not great, not trash, they've been good though. Blake Griffin, that man is having an MVP type season right now. And with what he's doing right now, he deserves a lot more recognition. But he won't, because his team doesn't have the talent around him for them to be a top tier team in the East. So if the Pistons want to change that and help out their man Blake, Andre Drummond, and the rest of those guys, they need to add more talent. Just so the rest of the league could take them a little bit more seriously. The Pistons need more help, and specifically, they need more help on the wing. Stanley Johnson is Stanley Johnson, and that's yikes. And as for the rest of the guys on their roster, they're just a player that they could go after and possibly secure by the trade deadline is Rodney Hood. Rodney has been so good this season so far for the Cavs, and he's been shooting the ball really well. The Pistons right now are looking to add someone of his caliber to their roster, so they can be even more of a threat once it comes playoff time. So honestly, what would it take to get Rodney Hood from the Cavs? I feel like Stanley Johnson and a second round pick would be enough to get the job done. Another team that could be interested in Rodney Hood's services is the Pelicans. The only reason why I feel like they are interested in him is because they can't get Otto Porter Jr. They don't have the assets for that man right there. But you know what team does have the assets for Otto Porter Jr. though? The Sacramento Kings. In fact, they actually tried to get that man during the offseason a couple years ago. The Kings are still interested in him, and they want that man to fill in the void that they have at the 3 spot. Now, I hope some of you guys realize that De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Marvin Bagley are off limits. Those guys are untouchables for sure. With that being known, the question is, would the Wizards be getting better or worse with this trade? Is Otto Porter a big part of the chemistry issues that they've been having? I don't know. If that is the case and that man is toxic or whatever, and they want to get rid of him, then they could make a move actually happen with the Kings. And the Wizards could actually find a way to benefit in one of two ways from this move. For one, they get a lot of cap relief, and with that, they can go ahead and chase another player during this offseason who could help their whatever they got going on. And secondly, who knows, their chemistry issues or whatever may be resolved with this man out of the locker room. I don't know, man. I doubt it, but it's a possibility. I wouldn't personally myself say that this is really realistic. The Kings really could offer up Zach Randolph, Iman Shumpert, and Skal Labissiere. Is this a great trade for Washington? Does this trade make them a better team? Not really, but I don't think they'd make a move like this in order to become a better team. This move right here only benefits them money-wise. They'd be receiving back expired contracts and someone who's on a rookie contract. I don't know if Washington would pull the trigger though, because it's like, did you guys even see the trade that they did last week or whatever? They didn't really win that trade. If anything, they kind of lost. So since I don't know where that front office's mind is at, I don't know if I'd want to call this a realistic trade. On to the last few trade rumors and things that I've seen as of recent. Frank Ntilikina and John Wall. I honestly do not think any of those guys are getting traded at all. For Wall, his contract is too heavy for most teams to handle and it's just a headache. And for Frank Ntilikina, I think he just has ways to go. I don't know if the Knicks would really want to get rid of him this early. Dude is what, 20, 21 years old? I feel like the Knicks should be focused on developing him rather than trying to find him a new home. And who knows, maybe the Knicks are just trying to force Frank Ntilikina to be something that he's not. This is all that I have to say about all these trade rumors for now. These 3 trades, Jabari to Utah, T. Ross to LA or Philly, and Rodney Hood to Detroit, are the only moves that I feel like could happen pretty soon. Anyways, this is the end of the video, man. I really do appreciate you for being here right now. And before I forget, make sure you cop these hoodies right here. They'll only be available for a few more days. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share this video with all your other NBA friends. And until then, I'll get right with you.
No way. Remember back when I couldn't get a play. No home, I ain't have a place to stay. I got to work, made the surf free to way. So my girl.